Today we're going to do a video on flying bases in isometric VTT. Let's get into it. So vertical terrain is one of the huge advantages of isometric play. You get to really engage with the terrain and see that some terrain is higher than other terrain, get a tactical advantage, fight flying monsters, do all the fun stuff that you can do in a physical tabletop that's really difficult to do in a top-down tabletop. So let's bring in a Planetar here. That's a monster. It's sort of like an angel. And this art is by an artist called Two Brave Puffins. And as I move that Planetar to higher heights, the isometric plugin from Grape Juice will automatically adjust the token artwork so that it goes up and down. You can believe that that flying creature could go and stand on top of that pillar. But let's change the flying monster to be 30 feet high, and through the optical illusion of this forced perspective with no kind of foreshortening, it looks like that Planetar is standing on top of the pillar, but they aren't. They're actually 10, 20 feet in front of the pillar. They just have the camera lines up to make them appear like they're standing on top of the pillar, but they're actually higher up and closer to the camera. So anyone can hit the Alt key on the keyboard to figure out where that character really is. But let's imagine that the character messed up, right? And so the pirate runs up thinking he can get into melee with the Planetar, maybe taking a running jump to sacrifice and go and dig its dagger into that Planetar or something. But it's not going to work out because that Planetar is actually quite a distance. Let's get that Planetar up to 60 feet and move it farther down. You'll see that it still looks like it's really close, but using the measure tool, we can see that the pirate is actually 50 feet away horizontally and actually another 45 feet up vertically away from being able to get in melee with that Planetar. So let's look at this in 3D to help explain that optical illusion. So this is Blender, and I've got sort of the same scene set up. Let me move it into the kind of video game rendering and not the ray traced rendering. And as I move the camera from its original position, you can see that I've got 3 copies of that angel token. They're just flat planes, but they line up perfectly with the camera, and you can only see one of them at a time, but they're actually at 3 different heights, just moving closer to the camera. That's the optical illusion that's happening with isometric. That's actually what's happening and causing all the trouble. So let's go show how we're going to have to solve this. We're going to have to solve this by giving the eye more context as to where that angel or Planetar is actually flying above. And we're going to do this using the same techniques that we use in a tabletop. So here I've got one creature that's up on like a fortification, and the fortification acts as context. It's really clear to me that this ground level character is going to have to cast fly in order to get up there to attack it or climb or something else. Now in a physical tabletop, I don't just leave it hovering there while it's not my turn. I got to find a solution for that. And the solution I normally use is you grab these things. They're the Chessex dice kind of containers. So when you buy dice in a gaming store, you've probably seen these. They come in these little clear containers. So you take the bottom off of it, and it makes a perfect 10-foot flying stand. So in between rounds, you can just leave your flying character there in melee against that other creature. Now I've got a reference visually to understand where it is and remember that it's flying instead of having to leave a sticky on it or something. If you've seen Critical Role, you've seen the big boy versions of these where I've got this plastic thing that's got gradations down its side. And that pillar, the clear pillar helps my eye remember just how high that is because it's got markings on it. Let's swap out the Dragonborn for an angel. And you can see, let's bring in some more flying monsters. Awesome. I recorded this a little while ago. And you can see that fight's happening in the air. And because of the design of this, I can actually fit my whole hand under there, and I can get a whole scene and minis, and this works really well. These are pretty solid. They take a lot of weight. They've got gradations with those markers down the side. And I think the sets usually come with multiple versions of the pillars, and they're modular, so you can swap in. That's another 20 feet. Plus the 10 feet that comes attached to the top that swaps out for 30 feet really quickly, really easily, and that all works out really well. And so this is how I would solve the problem in a top, in my physical tabletop. And we're gonna have to do something similar to this in my virtual tabletop. So back at my virtual tabletop, what we're going to do is we're going to bring out a shadow tile. And now we're going to attach these together using the token attach module. So I'm going to raise the angel up to 30 feet, and I'm going to draw a line from the foot of the angel. Actually, I have to select the line tool. From the foot of the angel to the center of the shadow. Now the token attach module adds a couple extra buttons. So I click on the angel token, hit that little link there for the token attach UI, and now I can select other things in the scene. So I can click the tile and attach it, and then I can go and click the drawing and attach it, close out the token attach UI, and now they all move together, and I could actually go save it into my actors tab with this pre-attached, as long as I remember that I have to have the token attach module turned on. And this is great. So now the pirate can run up these steps and see, wait, that was a bad idea. There's still 15 feet left to go, and that sort of flying stand that they're on makes that clear. And if the angel is actually farther away, but the optical illusion is making it look like the pirate is in melee, it's not, right? And that, the stand makes it obvious, and it makes it really easy to see how these are actually laid out when there's multiple of them flying through the air. And just for fun, I think we can probably bring out a token for Zariel, right, where I've got the pre-attached shadow. And if Zariel's going to fly up to meet the Planetar, I'm going to have to go and sort of edit this, go into edit mode to select individual elements and kind of open up the group and then hit the flying. So I would go and take the drawing tool and remember that I got to click the drawing tool and then get the flying base, select it with the token attach and bring it all together, attach it, and now I've got two flying creatures fighting just like I did in the physical version, and this is all much more epic and much more clear for the players to understand because I've got all the context and visual references. Well, that's it, and I hope you like that because this token attach module I think is going to have a lot of different applications for me as I start playing. I'm just getting started, just getting used to it. So I hope you enjoyed that, and hope you stick around to see more uses of these modules and things that I'm messing around with in isometric. Thanks.